Hello everybody, my name is James, hope you're doing well and welcome back to another video. And today we're going to be talking about a new penalty verdict, as well as a new response to the big crash Yuki Tsunoda had during qualifying in Imola. If you enjoy the video, make sure to leave a like and subscribe for more Formula 1 content. Also make sure to follow me on X at James's Pit Lane, I'll leave a link in the description, but let's jump straight into the video. So let's start with Franco Colapinto, who has been penalised following an incident during qualifying in Imola. Now, as we know, this is Colapinto's debut Grand Prix weekend with Alpine in 2025, with him replacing Jack Doohan, but it hasn't been the smoothest of weekends. You look at practice, and I wouldn't say the pace was really there. And then you get to qualifying, and while I think the pace did improve a bit, it wasn't the best qualifying. Firstly, he had a big crash at the end of Q1, so that meant his qualifying was done for the day. He did get through to Q2, but yeah, he didn't take part in Q2 because the car was so badly damaged. And before that crash, there was confusion in the pit lane, which has resulted in him getting a one-place grid drop for the Grand Prix. Basically, after a red flag was thrown during Q1 following Tsunoda's crash, Colapinto entered the fast lane of the pit lane before the session restart time had been confirmed. And while the stewards acknowledged that the breach was inadvertent following a misunderstanding in communication, they also felt that a sporting penalty was required and opted to impose a one-place grid penalty, mirroring the incident that occurred for both Mercedes cars during qualifying for the Bahrain Grand Prix. The steward's verdict said, the team representative stated that he gave the instruction for the car to creep out but not fully be released. The driver misunderstood the instruction and entered the fast lane before the restart time was officially confirmed in breach of the race director's events notes. Once this was done, it was too late to reverse course and the team instructed the driver to proceed down the pit lane. The team argued that there was no sporting advantage gained in this case, as there was sufficient time remaining for the other teams to perform their run plans, as this was the start of the session. The team representative and the driver apologised for the inadvertent breach. The stewards considered that this breach was inadvertent, but it did require a sporting penalty to be imposed. However, as the breach was unintentional, and this did not result in any sporting advantage, we decided to impose a one-position grid penalty. Now, as I say, this is pretty much exactly what happened with Mercedes in Bahrain qualifying, and both Mercedes drivers were handed one-place grid drops for the Grand Prix. So, there was no way Colapinto was going to get away with it. He was always going to get a penalty, even though, like Mercedes, the breach was an accident. But let's move on to Tsunoda, who did not hold back on the self-criticism following his crash in Imola. Now, this was a huge crash in Q1. Basically, at the Villeneuve chicane, he spun at high speed, and the car then flipped as it approached the barrier, landing upside down before the roll hoop turned him back over. Now, Tsunoda jumped out the car and was okay, but he was not happy with himself at all, with him being quoted by the racers saying, "The team is supporting me enough to take off pressure as much as possible. I just tried to be a hero in Q1, which is unnecessary, and aiming to just pass Q1 with just one set of tyres used. I made a lot of changes to the car. I don't know much about the car, how the car is going to react and everything, high speed, slow speed, and that kind of corner you need to build up, especially after a massive change. I had confidence that I can handle it, but at the same time, to be honest, this is kind of an excuse, but it's just experience with the car and car changes, and how the car reacts has been unexpected. But I know the kind of reason that caused that kind of balance into the corner. It was just really stupid, pushing unnecessarily hard." Now, this is not what Tsunoda needed. As we know, Liam Lawson started the season with Red Bull, but after an absolutely dismal first two Grand Prix, he was replaced by Tsunoda. And while Tsunoda has looked faster than Lawson was, he is still struggling in that Red Bull, it looks like. He's yet to qualify higher than 8th and has scored just 6 points in 4 events as Max Verstappen's teammate. And the problem is, Tsunoda's flashes of speed have really only been restricted to practice. In Imola, for example, on Friday he was within a tenth of Verstappen, but on Saturday that pace was just nowhere, and he was nowhere near the pace of his teammate. So while Tsunoda has shown promise at certain stages, it does need to come together at some point for him. But that's going to be the video from me today. Thank you ever so much for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe for more videos. And until the next one, take care. Bye.